Brenton Solway presents Believing the Prophets, an ancient parable that Jesus told of the rich man and Lazarus and the road to Emmaus. Let's explore these stories and see what they have in common.
Hello, I'm Brenton Solway. I have two stories today from the Bible. The first story is the rich man and Lazarus out of Luke, and the second story is also out of Luke, and it is the road to Emmaus. And I'm going to connect these two, and I want you to pay attention for believing Moses and the prophets. There was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. But there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, full of sores, who was laid at his gate, desiring to be fed with crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. So it was that the beggar died and was carried by the angels to Abraham's bosom. The rich man died and was buried. And being in torment in hell, or in Hades, he lifted up his eyes and saw Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. So afar off he could see Abraham from where he was at, and could see Lazarus. Then he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. He was in torment. He was thirsty. Even though he was not even in his body, he still experienced pain and thirst. Okay, but Abraham said, Son, remember that in your lifetime you received good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and you are tormented. And besides all this, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed, so that those who want to pass from here to you cannot, nor can those from there pass to us. So you couldn't cross this great gulf. There was some kind of divide in between Abraham's bosom and hell, but you could somehow see across it. So we have a dimensional shift, a time shift. Time and space is not what it seems here in comparison to there. There's something different about it, where you could see a distance like that and see people afar off and recognize who they are too. And this person had never met Abraham before, but he knew who he was. So in the spirit realm, in that dimension, we would be able to see and notice other people. Then he said, I beg you therefore, Father, that you would send him to my father's house. So he's wanting Lazarus to go to his father's house. For I have 5 brothers, that he may testify to them, lest they also come to this place of torment. He didn't want his brothers to go to where he was at. Now, this was hell, it was torment, and he was thinking of his brothers. That's odd. I mean, he was thinking of himself, he was thirsty, but he was also thinking of his brothers. Abraham said to him, here we go, they have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. That's good. Pay attention here. Abraham said to him, they have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, no, Father Abraham, but if one goes to them from the dead, they will repent. Now he's thinking if someone comes back from the dead, that's going to be such a shocking experience that it's going to change his brothers' minds. And they're going to say, oh man, we don't want to go there. But listen to what Abraham responds here. But he said to him, if they do not hear Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded though one rise from the dead. Now that seems a little bit crazy. You would think, I don't know about that. But we have another story here that proves that that's true. And this is on the road to Emmaus. Okay, and behold, two of them went that same day to a village called Emmaus. And this is after Jesus had rose from the dead. The women had went to the tomb, and Jesus was not there. They went and told Peter about it, and here's two people that are walking on the road to Emmaus. And behold, two of them went the same day to a village called Emmaus, which was from Jerusalem about 60 furlongs, which is 7 miles. And they talked together of all these things which had happened. So it was, while they conversed and reasoned, that Jesus himself drew near and went with them. Now here's someone who has rose from the dead, and he is speaking with them. But their eyes were restrained, so that they did not know him. Here's someone has returned from the dead. They don't know. Jesus himself is talking to these people, and he has come back from the dead. Okay, now listen on further down when Jesus talks about the Moses and the prophets. And he said to them, "What kind of conversation is this that you have with one another as you walk and are sad?" Then the one whose name was Cleophas answered and said to him, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem, that have you not known the things which happened there in these days?" And he said to them, "What things?" So they said to him, "The things concerning Jesus of Nazareth, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death and crucified him. But we were hoping that he was going to redeem Israel. Indeed, besides all this, today is the 3rd day since these things happened. Yes, and certain women of our company who arrived at the tomb early astonished us. When they did not find his body, they came saying that they had also seen a vision of angels who said he was alive." Well, that's one thing right there. It's a good point. That Jesus isn't dead. He's not someone who lived a long time ago and is dead, and he's just a historical figure. Jesus is alive. He rose from the dead, and he is not dead. He conquered death and hell. And certain of those who were with us went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said, but him they did not see. And he said to them, "O foolish ones, and slow of heart to believe in all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not the Christ have suffered these things and entered into his glory?" And beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he expounded to them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And they drew near to the village where they were going, and he indicated that he would have gone farther. But they constrained him, saying, "Abide with us, for it is toward evening, and the day is far spent." And he went in to stay with them. Now it came to pass, as he sat at the table with them, that he took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he vanished from their sight. And they said one to another, "Did not our heart burn within us while he talked with us on the road, and while he opened the scriptures to us?" That's amazing. If someone does not believe the Bible, even if Jesus was standing in front of them, they would not recognize him.
road to Emmaus and the road to destruction is a matter of believing the prophets.